Hello, friends. I'm in a really good mood right now. I hope you are as well. Now, my friends, I have no idea why I said friends so many times. Either way, because you are my friends. Actually, I answered my own question, because you are. It's time for another Neckbeard story. This is from Reddit user Awkward Bohem. This is Living with Two Neckbeards and a Legbeard, Part 2. I remember what happened in Part 1. I'm scared already. Hello, Reddit peoples. Hello, Awkward Bohem. I'm back with another tale of life from two neckbeards and a legbeard. As I said in my last post, that I'd be including our second neckbeard in this post, and he's yet to make an appearance. So, let us begin. I want to say that this tale takes place about 5 to 6 months after we first started living with Mike and Janice. I can't remember the exact date. Around this time, Mike's little brother, Declan, had been arguing with his mom constantly. He had told us all that she was being unreasonable, yelling at him for minor things, and had been trying to bully him into getting a job that he didn't want. Due to this, they'd been arguing non-stop, and eventually, his mother had told him that he needed to find somewhere else to live. We later heard through a friend of the family that she actually kicked Declan out because he dropped out of college without telling her, refused to get a job, and just wanted to sit around drinking and watching television all day. He'd also put several holes in the walls and doors in his drunken state. Oh. Well, that sounds like a lot of unresolved issues. Mike didn't want to see his little brother struggling, so he and Janice talked to myself and Carrie, and convinced us to let him stay with us for a while. And so, a second neckbeard moves in. Another neckbeard joins the battle. Unlike Janice and Mike, who spent the majority of their time in their bedroom, thus making it easier to contain the smell, Declan had taken up residence on our sofa bed in the living room. He opted to spend most days lying on the sofa bed, eating and drinking and watching television through our bloody Netflix account. Oh, you have to have permission to use that, sir. That's not okay. And generally did nothing to contribute to the house. But hey, what did we expect? We'd already been living with his lazy older brother for months. Why would Declan be any different? He was also more aggressive than Mike, as seen by his habit of punching holes in walls at his mother's house. There was one instance where he got really snippy at Carrie for moving some empty Chinese takeaway containers off his bed. At this point, we were still desperately trying to keep the flat somewhat clean. Apparently, she shouldn't have been touching his belongings. Bruh, it's trash. Let the trash go. Because apparently takeaway containers are now collectibles. Oh my fucking god. I don't really feel comfortable writing down what he said next, but Carrie told me it's fine. It shows how much of a piece of shit he is. You see, Carrie is quiet. She will not take people's shit if they talk to her like that. So, she argued back, to which Declan responded with, "Just because you have a dick doesn't mean you get to talk back to me like that. You're the woman here, so start acting like it. Next time you want to move something, you'll fucking ask."
Kill him. Kill him now.
I had absolutely no idea that this happened until a few months back. Carrie had said she didn't want to worry me. If I had known, I would have flipped. At the very least, he never spoke to her like that again until we moved out, but that's a whole other story. He even apologized to her afterwards, buying her perfume and chocolate to make it up to her. Oh, what a gentleman. Carrie didn't accept these gifts, but told him she was willing to move forward since, again, we didn't really have anywhere else to go. After this incident, he mostly focused his anger on the occasional phone calls he had with his mother, poor woman, and sometimes Mike, though they often got over it very quickly. Declan was, like Mike and Janice, a creep, though he never focused on anyone in particular. Oh no. You see, Declan liked to focus his flirting efforts on any random girl in the street that he found attractive. Oh, how wonderful. I remember one instance where I'd been stuck with Declan in HMV and he tried to work his magic on the girl at the till. Don't do that. These people are already at shitty jobs. Don't fucking harass them like that. Oh my god. I've been looking for a gift for my younger cousin, leaving Declan to his own devices as I had a little look around. When I found what I was looking for, I headed back to the till to pay for it, only to find Declan flirting, I think that's what he called it anyway, with a clearly very uncomfortable employee. At one point, he even reached over to try and grab her hand to admire her nails. Oh my fucking god, no. I headed over to pay for my things, managing to make Declan move to the side, further away from the girl at the till. We made small talk while she scanned everything, and I managed to mouth a quick sorry to her, subtly tilting my head in Declan's direction when he wasn't looking. She chuckled a bit at this, waving me off. Swear to God, I thought Declan was going to snap his neck with how quick he looked up to glare at us. I thought that was the end of it until Mike asked if he could have a serious talk with me that night. Oh my God, here we go. You know that episode of Friends where Ross flips out at Chandler for stealing the pizza delivery girl from him just because he acts like a normal human being and pays for the food? Yeah, this is the kind of situation we had here. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Declan had gone crying to Mike, telling him he was flirting with a really attractive girl, and I just barged in and ruined it for him and made him look bad. Darling, you did that yourself. I didn't even have to say that. They said it for me. I told Mike what happened, and surprisingly, he believed me. But he asked me if I'd be able to just leave him be next time. Bitch, please. As Declan really gets excited when he gets to talk to girls. Yes, I'm sure he does. Again, I didn't even have to add that. I told Mike that I wouldn't want to upset Declan, but if he's making someone uncomfortable, then I'm not just going to stand there. Needless to say, Declan didn't speak to me for a few days after that. It was heaven. I bet. It was around this time that Janice and Mike decided to get a bit more brave with their attempts to win Carrie and I over. I guess having another creep in the house made them a bit more confident. Around a month or so after Declan moved in, there was a death in my family. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I really don't want to go into a lot of detail as it's still a sore spot for me, but basically there'd been some family drama that resulted in me not being informed about the funeral, and as a result, I missed it. Oh, honey, that's awful. I'm so sorry. I was absolutely distraught at this point, even had to take a couple of weeks off of work, who were thankfully very understanding. Carrie was an absolute godsend during this time and spent the majority of her free time taking care of me, which I still feel bad about. They shouldn't have to do that, but this wouldn't be in the post if the clan didn't do something to make it worse. Carrie took care of you when you were in this state because they're family, just like you. You guys love each other, so you take care of each other. And it's very sweet. It started off kind of subtle. I'd broken a glass one afternoon and had broken down crying. That's the kind of headspace I was in, you know, where minor things going wrong feel like the end of the world. Yeah, I know that. Janice had heard the glass breaking and came to check on me. At first, she did what most other people would do in that situation. She picked up some of the glass on the floor, checked over my hand for any cuts, a couple of scratches, but nothing serious. But that was about it for acting like a normal human being. She asked me if I wanted to watch a movie to cheer me up. I politely declined her and told her I just wanted to go to bed, maybe even try to do some college work if I felt up for it. She ignored me and started talking about how she just downloaded Harry Potter box set, and didn't I just love Harry Potter? That'll definitely cheer me up. I told her again that I really didn't feel like it. She again ignored me, talking about how she'd make me feel all better. I'm getting really uncomfortable. By this point, Mike was in the kitchen with us, asking what was wrong. It was at this point that it dawned on me that I was stuck at home with these two. As Carrie was out working, Declan was also out for job center appointment and, presumably, to harass more random people. Mike, of course, agreed that the best thing for me to do was watch a movie with them. He eventually resorted to picking me up and carrying me to the now folded-up sofa bed. Bitch, what the fuck? I'd have kicked that motherfucker in the jaw. Might I remind you that this was the same sofa bed that Declan had been practically living in since he got there. The sofa bed that was contaminated with bits of rotting food, spilled drink, and Declan's sweat shadow. Ew. If I hadn't been such an emotional wreck, I would have balked at the thought of it. But the state of the couch was the least of my concerns. Janice and Mike sat down on either side of me. Mike had an arm wrapped around both mine and Janice's shoulder, pulling me closer to the unbearable scent of B.O., and Janice leaned on me, moving her legs until she was half sitting on my lap, effectively pinning me to the couch. Oh, fuck no. I'd kind of given up at this point and opted to just try to enjoy the movie as much as I could, while trying to block out the vile scent that was bombarding me from all sides. Then, they decided they were hungry. Thankfully, they didn't try to cook. Instead, Janice brought some crisps and chocolate bars. I wasn't really hungry, so I just sat back and tried to avoid the crumbs that they were wiping on their clothes. At some point, Mike had tried to feed me. What the fuck? Not as in asking if I wanted a packet of crisps. Oh no, that's too normal. He held crisps up to my mouth and tried to get me to eat.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Now, if you folks read the last post, you'll know that Mike's personal hygiene was far from the best, and there was no way in hell I was going to eat anything out of his hand. Totally fucking understandable. I'd just gotten a bit frustrated and decided to grab an unopened packet of crisps and have a few just to get him to leave me alone, but this apparently wasn't the right thing to do. He took the packet out of my hand and held up another crisp for me to eat. When I refused to take it, Mike said something that I genuinely didn't realize was as messed up until I was telling Carrie about it later. He said, "You have to eat something. You really think, insert deceased family member's name here, would want to see you like this?"
Rip and tear until it is done.
He literally used my recently deceased relative to try and guilt me into letting him feed me. Yeah, fuck him. What the fuck? Yes, exactly. I was literally going to eat, just not out of his hand. Thankfully, Carrie had been working in a school kitchen at this time, so she arrived about 2-ish to save me from the greasy couple. Sorry this got really long. I was going to add to the story by the time Declan tried to save a woman from her husband in Burger King and kind of lighten the mood a bit. I mean, that lady put him in his place. But I'll write about that in the next post, as this got kind of long. Bit of an abrupt ending, but I'm pretty tired. Sorry, guys. So, I realized that the highlight of this, or at least the main point of this, was to introduce the new Neckbeard. But, yeah, Declan's gross, creepy, and exactly the kind of creep that, OP started describing them as. But let's get back to Mike for a second, shall we? Because I'm about to lose my fucking mind. Holy shit. Just when I thought this scummy little weasel couldn't get any fucking worse. Just when I thought this motherfucker can't possibly dig himself any further down. Oh, he finds bedrock and then breaks out a goddamn shovel. Fuck this dude, seriously. Fuck this dude. That is totally uncalled for. That is completely unacceptable. Trying to manipulate somebody with something that has recently happened like that, the recent passing of a relative who was obviously very important to them, to use that to try and pry your way into what? Into getting them to have sex with you? You filth. You vile motherfucker. You absolute degenerate. I hope your fucking dick falls off. I hope it falls off, grows back, and then falls off a second time. As I've been known to say with several things, I hope you unfuck yourself. I hope you get so unfucked that you become a virgin again and there's nothing you can do about it. Because I know to neckbeard motherfuckers like him, that is the worst possible thing. That's worse than death. I hope it happens more than once. Yeah, fuck you that much. Unfuck you to death. That's all you get, motherfucker. You sick piece of shit. You absolute fucking garbage. That is fucking foul. That is absolutely vile. I got really angry. And I'm sorry about that. But, seriously, fuck this guy. That's, just fuck him. His little girlfriend did much better. Playing into this shit and then just going along with it. Fuck her, too. It's fucking filth, man. That is absolute filth. That you fucking see this shit and just go with it. Just to let that fucking shit happen? Like, no, man, you're just as fucking guilty. As we've learned from many of these stories, gender is completely irrelevant. Literally anybody can be a fucking asshole. God, don't we know it. OP, I'm so glad that since I read that note from your first post that you are out of this situation, that you're not living with these people anymore, but how you didn't strangle that motherfucker is beyond me. I would have just gone for the throat. Somebody did that shit, because I was really close to my grandmother. Somebody pulled that shit with me, I'd have just gone for his fucking throat. You don't get to fucking say her name like that. You don't get to come up in my business like that, motherfucker. That is not okay. So, Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to end this here. You know, of all the shit that's happened, and I say this from time to time when it comes to these videos, I encourage you to leave comments. This one, like some of the others, not for me, but for OP. Should they ever see this? Should they ever, you know, hear this? I want them to know that they are loved, they are supported, and what they went through was absolutely horrible, but there's always going to be people who will be there to help. We just may be, you know, a collection of random internet strangers. But, shit, man. Nobody should have to go through that. It's fucking horrible. Thanks for being here, everybody. You know, do the outro stuff, YouTube, whatever. Links in the description. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I need a minute. Take care of yourselves. It's the most important thing. Be safe out there and take care of yourselves. I love you all so very, very much. World's a scary fucking place, kids. Please be safe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.